And welcome back. Hour number 3, folks, of the Steve Malzberg Show. Lots of breaking news today as we've been keeping you informed of and making some news along the way as well. We're joined right now by Arkansas Congressman Tim Griffin, Republican, of course. And Congressman, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Well, it's my pleasure. Little Rock, I think there was some other politician who came from Little Rock. I'm not really sure. Anyway.
Well, Clinton grew up in South Arkansas. That's where I grew up. I represent Little Rock and the 6 counties around the Little Rock area, so Central Arkansas.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I really admire what you did. You've called out the president. I mean, if we've heard him once, we've heard him a million times say, and all the while he has not been willing to do this, he goes around saying, hey, I'm open to ideas on the Affordable Care Act. I'm willing to listen. You got a better idea? Just tell it to me. I'll meet with anybody. And, of course, he never meets with anybody, not even Kathleen Sebelius, as it turns out, for 3 years, but let alone Republicans. So you, 33 House Republicans, are now requesting a meeting with the president on Obamacare.
Hey, look, I'm just taking him at his word. He said he wants to hear ideas. We've got them and would be happy to share them with him. He said he would meet with anybody. I disagree with him on a lot of things, but I think I qualify as an anybody. And so we'll see what he says. The question that a lot of us are asking is why does the president insist on doing things the old-fashioned way, the old way, and that is top-down, where you find a problem and then you find the federal agency that can fix it, right? And you pick the IRS and HHS to help insure, to get some insurance for some of the folks that didn't have it before. And in the meantime, you take a wrecking ball to everybody who liked their insurance. I mean, that whole top-down, Washington knows best approach is the old way of doing things, and there is a much better way that is bottom-up, that is patient and doctor-centric, where individuals are deciding what's best for their own health, instead of the federal government saying, we're going to tell everybody in America the way it ought to be. And I'll give you an example. Some folks were happy with their insurance. They liked the price of it. They liked the fact that it provided what they needed for their age and their condition. And instead of the president saying, well, that's fine. You do what you got to do. You make your own choices. That's between you and your doctor, right? Instead of doing that, he, through Obamacare, said, the federal government and I know best. We know what insurance you ought to be allowed to have and what insurance you shouldn't be allowed to have. And we're going to make sure that if the insurance you have and you like doesn't look like what we want it to look like, then we're going to make sure it goes away. And that's just one example of the whole top-down approach, and it doesn't work. That's why Medicare, as much good as it has done, is heading toward bankruptcy, right? Needs reform.
Absolutely.
And Medicaid headed toward bankruptcy. Social Security's got a little longer. But if we know anything, it's that the federal government does not have the answers, all of the answers. And Obamacare is predicated on that. And so we have a whole list of ideas, and some of them have been around for several years.
Well, let me stop you there, Congressman.
Yeah,
and you point out that, and rightfully so, that there's a false choice being
several out there, and I will tell you, we had a number of bills, and I have a whole list of them, that were being discussed and were introduced right around the time of Obamacare being debated. So they've been out there. Now, right now, we're in a position where we've seen what's happening with Obamacare. And, I think before we put a big piece of legislation together with all of this stuff as a conference, I think I'm all for the idea of providing an alternative. But before we get there, I think it's sufficient to say, look, let's talk about, Mr. President, these ideas, and we won't even write them into detailed legislation yet. Let's talk about which ones you like and which ones you don't like and why you don't. Because, look, the reality is he's going to be president for the next 3 years, and I didn't want him to be. I didn't vote for him, but he is. And so what I'm saying is, look, the first thing we've got to do here is have you, Mr. President, not demagogue untruthfully, which is what he's doing when he says it's Obamacare or nothing. They
right?
have no idea.
Well, Congressman, let me ask you. You sent the letter. Do you expect a response from him?
Here's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is give him the holidays, and as soon as we get past the holidays, I'm going to start a countdown clock, and every single day I'm going to put out a press release telling how many days it's been since he invited us, how many days it's been since I accepted, and how many days of silence it's been.
I think that is seriously a brilliant idea.
Every single day until I leave Congress.
And where will I find that clock?
Well, it's either you're probably on our website.
Okay.
What we'll probably do is set the clock up and put out daily a press release.
All right. Well,
daily.
we will be in touch with you because I think that is a brilliant idea. That's something the American people could look at and see, and you're calling him out. And if he meets with you, you win. And if he doesn't meet with you, at least public relations-wise, unfortunately, you win as well. So,
look, we're going to be transparent about it.
Yep.
He publicly said he wanted to meet. I publicly said I wanted to meet.
Great.
If we don't meet, it ain't my fault, my friend.
Hey, listen, you have a Merry Christmas and a great holiday, sir.
Hey, loved being on your show.
Thank you very much.
Merry Christmas.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Congressman Tim Griffin, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you see, there's some forward thinking. They're going to put a clock. How many times has the president said, hey, I'll meet with anybody. I'll meet with Republicans if they have good ideas. He's called them out on this. They sent him an invite. We want to meet with you. We accept your invitation. He's not going to pressure him till after the holidays, but they're going to keep a clock, which they'll put up after the holidays, just saying how long it's been since the challenge, how long since they accepted the invitation, and how long it's been since the president hasn't responded. That's something Democrats would do. That's brilliant. Brilliant. It's simple. And it's not nutty or over the top. Simple and brilliant because it speaks to the people. We shall see how that progresses. Very, very exciting. Congressman Tim Griffin. All right, folks, we're coming back. More news being made right here every minute on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.